Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm setting up my bullet journal for August, and I really wanted to do a summery theme, so I thought I would go for lemons this time. Now first I'm going to show you a quick flip through of my July spreads. I did a cotton theme and I really loved the color palette because it felt really dreamy to me, and I also had a lot of fun creating my weekly spreads, although I ended up skipping the second to last one because I just didn't feel like making a spread. But I did make one more after filming, and then I'm starting my August setup on these 2 pages. For this setup I wanted to use my Olive Acrylographs, which I haven't done in a while, so I picked 4 shades from the Jewel collection. I have the 0.7 tip pens, and you can use my affiliate code ArdenBujos to get 10% off your order from Olive, which is also a great way to support me, so thank you to anyone using my code. I also use my white Signo gel pen and a Pigma Micron fine liner in 02, as well as this craft paper tape I got from Stationery Pal. Again, you can use my code ArdenBujos for 12% off. So on the first page I wanted to make a work planner again, which I've been doing for the last couple of months, and I've been getting a lot of use out of it, so I thought I would just make it a little bit bigger this time. I'm using the craft paper tape as a background for the weekdays on the top. This time I made each day 3x3 dot grid spaces, and then I'm using my white gel pen to write the weekdays. Next I'm using the Pigma Micron to make the borders of the calendar, and I also used a ruler because I wanted it to look nice and clean. For the dates, I'm using the Dusty Rose acrylograph, and I'm writing them into the first row of each day so that I'm left with 6 grid spaces every day, and then as always I'm going to use a color code for the types of work I wanted to plan out. Here I'm just crossing out the first few days of September with a light blue acrylograph. Now here's where I make my color code, so I wanted to include all types of work I get up to, so that's why I decided to expand the calendar a bit this time. So for example, I work on YouTube, my Instagram account, my freelance job, stuff for university, other freelance projects, and my Etsy shop. And I like to have this kind of overview so that I can fill in what I need to get done each day without having to actually write anything down, but I just have a quick visual overview of the weeks and the whole month. Underneath that, I'm making my little YouTube and Instagram growth trackers. I just used some more of that craft paper tape as a background, and then I'm writing on top of it with my white gel pen. By the way, you can find me on Instagram at ArdenBujos as well, and I always leave a link to it in my description as well if you want to follow me there. I wanted to fill that little space between the 2 trackers, so I'm drawing a few leaves and a lemon blossom because I didn't want to just draw lemons for this theme, and actually lemon trees have everything at the same time, so they blossom while they already have fruit, and they also have their leaves, so I thought it would be nice to include everything and just add a bit more variety. As you can see, I first colored in everything with the acrylographs, and now I'm doing the outlines with the Pigma Micron. Moving on to my cover page, you can see my process a bit better here. So again, I'm using the acrylographs to outline and color in all of the elements first. I chose this kind of peachy yellow for the lemons because I don't usually go for like super saturated or vibrant colors, and to me it still reads as yellow in combination with the other colors. Now the 0.7 acrylographs are definitely not ideal for covering larger surfaces. They still worked, but I might get another set of the Jewel collection in the bigger size in the future. For the leaves I'm using this nice green shade, and I didn't want to make an actual branch or anything, but I wanted the doodles to look more like a cute pattern because I just really like that look, and it's also a bit easier so the sizes and everything don't have to be realistic either. I wanted the pattern to be in a circular shape, and I sketched the placement in pencil first to make everything nice and evenly spaced out. For the lemon blossoms, I only colored in the center because they're white, but I also added some flower buds which have this pretty rosy hue. Then I'm going in with the Pigma Micron fine liner to do the outlines and little details, and I kept everything super simple because I don't want the doodles to be super complicated or take too much time. So I'm just drawing some veins on the leaves, some dots on the lemons, and roughly drawing the little petals on the flower buds. For the actual flowers, they have 5 petals and they're spaced out kind of like a little star, and I made them pretty elongated and more pointed towards the center as well as towards the ends. I also made the other flower face more sideways so that it just gives the pattern a bit more variation. To balance out the pattern on the other side, I'm adding another smaller flower, more leaves, and another flower bud because I didn't want to fill in the whole circle with the doodles, but I also didn't want it to be super symmetrical, and this way I still have enough space to place the title in between the two sides. I'm using some more of that craft paper tape as a background for the title, and then I'm writing it with the white gel pen, so I split the word August into 2 lines because it just fits perfectly that way, and I kind of thought it was a nice contrast to the pattern because it's a bit more structured, if that makes sense. As a last touch, I wanted to incorporate that blue shade because it's kind of like a sky blue, and I thought it kind of completed the color palette, so I just made some lines to suggest the shape of the circle, and then I just filled in the little spaces between the doodles with smaller dots, which make the pattern look a lot more full. So that's it for these first 2 pages, and let's move on to my habit trackers as always. For the title, I'm again using some more of the craft paper tape as a background and then writing habits on top of it in white. Next to it, I wanted to fill the empty space with the little doodles, so I just did the same process as on the cover page, first coloring in the leaves and everything with the acrylographs, and then going over them with my Pigma Micron for the outlines. It's actually really easy to fill in any kind of shape with those doodles because you can vary the sizes of the individual elements, and I think they always just look really cute as long as there's some variation. Now for my daily habit trackers, I'm using more craft paper tape for the titles, so these strips are 7 spaces wide. I did 6 habits and I just spaced them out so that there is a little gap in between them that I can fill later on. Here I'm writing the weekdays with the Dusty Rose acrylograph, and for anyone new to my channel, the way I make my daily habit trackers is I just outline the shape of the calendar so that each day occupies 1 grid space, and then I can color it in if I complete the habit, so usually I just draw a circle. Next I'm writing the actual habits, so this month I'm tracking making my bed in the morning, flossing my teeth, using my bullet journal to plan out the day, doing my morning routine to start the day on a positive note, doing my daily skincare in the morning and at night, and lastly stretching a little bit every day. Then I'm using the Pigma Micron and a ruler to outline the tracker. I just make a rectangle and then cross out the days from September later, and the rectangles are 7 spaces wide and 5 spaces tall. Honestly, I've been making my habit trackers pretty much the same way for quite a while at this point, because it just always looks nice and clean to me, but I can also play around with how I arrange them on the page, and it just gives me flexibility to track more or less habits if I want to. Like I said, here I'm crossing out the first few days of September, and that's it for my daily habits. Now in this middle section, I thought I would include a little quote. So this one just says, "When life gives you lemons, make lemonade." So basically just make the best out of your situation, which I think is always a nice reminder to stay positive. And then of course I'm drawing more lemons, flowers, and leaves all around it to fill the rest of the space and make it look pretty. For my weekly habits, I'm first writing the titles with that dusty rose acrylograph, and this month I'm tracking watering my plants, making my weekly spreads in my bullet journal, posting on Instagram, which I can't seem to stay consistent at, but I am trying, and then doing art practice where I either study artwork or just practice gesture drawings or anatomy and things like that. Next to each weekly habit, I'm drawing 5 circles in black that I fill in once I complete the habit each week, and I just space them out so that they fill in the rest of the page. On the right page, I wanted to make a bit of a different spread that I haven't actually ever done before, but I thought it would motivate me, so it's a weekly reset routine, and it's basically just going to be a list of things that I can do each week to kind of get back on track, take care of my mental and physical health, and just to feel good overall, because sometimes you just get stressed out and you need to take time for yourself to focus on what's actually important and reset for the next week. I definitely tend to put a lot of pressure on myself to get things done perfectly and to just be as productive as I can be, but it's just really unrealistic and it makes me feel kind of burnt out sometimes, so that I end up just not doing any of the things I wanted to do because I feel overwhelmed. So I'm trying to get better at that and take things a bit slower. So for this spread, I thought of some things I can do to reset for the next week, and I just split it into 3 categories. The first one is things I can do to have a clean and organized space. The second category is basically self-care, so more on the physical side of things. And then the last one is personal growth and just taking care of my mental health. Here I'm giving each category a border in the green, rose, and yellow shade to just bring a bit more color into the layout. And I didn't use a ruler for these this time because it was already looking very structured, so I kind of wanted to include something less clean looking, if that makes sense. Then I'm writing down all of the activities that I thought of for each category. So for the first one, I wrote down put clutter away, vacuum, laundry, clean my desk, and make my weekly spread, because those things make me feel really organized and just ready to start another week. In the second category, I wrote face mask, nail care, yoga session or workout, hair care, buying fresh flowers, and going outside. Lastly, for personal growth, I wrote down studying Korean, playing piano, learning new software, painting or drawing, reading books, and studying from artists. And these are just things that I would like to do more because they definitely make me feel more fulfilled, and they also motivate me when I don't feel creative. Underneath, I wanted to make a little content planner for Instagram so that I can plan out my posts beforehand and hopefully keep myself a bit more accountable. So I did the same style of header, and just as a quick note, I actually got a comment asking if I could post my weekly spreads on YouTube, and I thought it was actually a really good idea, so I'll try to make a community post about them for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram or just don't have Instagram. For this content planner, I just wanted to write down every post I want to make. So for example, my cover page and all my weekly spreads and when I actually want to post them. So I ended up deciding on creating a simple list. Here I outlined it with black again to keep things consistent, and I just counted how many rows I would need, and then I split the box into 3 columns. First for what I actually want to post, then for the date and weekday, and lastly I wanted to be able to track my progress, so I made some little color-coded circles to fill in once completed, and I added the color code on the bottom. The first circle is for when I actually made a spread, the second one is for when I have taken a picture of the spread, then the third one is for when I edited the picture, and the last one is for when I actually posted the spread. Underneath that, I'm again filling the space with more doodles to add some color. And by the way, the lighting changed a bit from here on because the sun came out and was shining on my desk. So I hope it's not too distracting because it was also kind of cloudy. So it's gonna come out every now and then. But yeah, that's it for these 2 pages, and let's go ahead and move on to my first weekly spread of August. This time I wanted to do one of my favorite layouts again, so with this one the sections for each day are 11 spaces tall and 11 spaces wide, so they're a bit smaller than my usual ones, but you also have lots of room to play around with the layout and adding other sections. I placed Monday through Wednesday on the left page and then the rest on the right page, but I left a section empty on the top left of the right page, as you can see. I used more of the craft paper tape for the backgrounds where I wanted to write the weekdays and the dates, and then I'm making the borders in black again with a ruler. Here I'm using my white gel pen once again for the weekdays and the dates, and I kept my fonts really simple all throughout this setup because I thought it fit the theme really well, so here just kind of defaulted to my usual loopy lettering. To add a bit more color to the daily sections, I alternated between the dusty rose, peach, and sea green acrylographs to draw little doodles into each lower right corner. Next, all the way on the left side, I wanted to add a mini calendar because I always forget the date, so it's nice to have a small overview. I of course also decorated it with some small doodles on the side as well. Underneath, I decided to include a Korean word of the day section because I honestly found it really hard to keep up with a monthly version, mostly just because I kept forgetting about it, so I thought I would try it on a weekly basis. I made the border with the peach acrylograph, again not using a ruler like before with my reset routine, just to keep things consistent. Then I just added each weekday, and I wanted to have 2 lines for each day so that I don't have to squeeze the words in so small. All the way at the bottom, I'm filling the space with doodles because I don't really need that many sections apart from my daily ones, and I feel like this makes the whole spread look so much more colorful and playful. I'm doing the same exact thing on this top section because it balances out the layout nicely, since now there are doodles on the top as well as on the bottom. Lastly, I'm adding another small section for any events happening next week, which I usually just put into my phone calendar instead of making a monthly overview because I just never fill those in that much. And that's it for this August setup. I really hope you like the theme as much as I do, and I hope you enjoyed the video, so let's go ahead and do a little flip through. Sometimes I definitely struggle quite a bit when coming up with a theme, but I have to say this one actually came quite easily to me for some reason, and I definitely think it works great for summer. If you end up recreating any of my setups and posting it on Instagram, please make sure to tag me. I always love seeing them, and I like to include them in my videos, so I'll show them off next time since there weren't that many this time. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of my content, definitely subscribe and also leave a like on this video. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you again next time. Bye!